be on the touchdown. It was after the play, though. So they had an unsportsmanlike call after the play, cost them the 15, shanks the extra point.
Yeah, no, I mean, not even close.
You think about that as a kicker, right? Your confidence, you miss an extra point, your confidence is kind of shot.
Yeah.
Right? And it could have very well cost over the game, but they had a nice drive, and they got it to about 4th and 3. And they opted, they could have gone for it, and probably wouldn't have been frowned at if they missed and didn't get it. But 42-yard field goal, not a gimme, especially in high school. Not a gimme.
Not a chance.
And the kid drilled it. We were watching live on one of the streams. The kid drilled it.
I mean, it could have been 50.
I think he had it from 50. I think you're right. And, in any case, that was enough. Tri-Valley tried to get it down late but didn't have enough time. And Dover wins a shocker. And then Bloom Carroll falls short against Licking Valley 29-17. So the Panthers get the job done over the Bulldogs. Bloom Carroll's season is done. Region 15. Let's just move along. I think we'll just get these scores out here in this break, and then we'll hear from the general Jeff Davis here on the other side of this break. Region 15. Bishop Ready falls to St. Clairsville 29-22. Waverly falls to Indian Valley. They kept it close. Early, but in the end, the Indian Valley squad was just too much for Waverly. 49-14. New Lex romping against Logan Elm, 52-14. What a fun game that is next week. New Lex, Indian Valley.
Yeah.
And then West Holmes, 13 seed. Talk about a Cinderella. They take down East Liverpool, 24-13. Proud to say that I got that one right.
Yeah, you did.
D5, Region 19. Ironton, no sweat needed. Blank Portsmouth for the second time this season, 44-zip. West Musk rolls into Proctorville and spanks Fairland, 33-7. The final score for the Tornadoes. It's a good night to be a tornado. Real good night to be a tornado.
It was a muddy one down there in Proctorville as well.
It was. Rain rolled through. And in the end of the day, West Musk gets the job done. Fairland, another good season. OVC champs, but again, in the playoffs, the struggle continues for the Dragons. Harvest Prep didn't need to break much of a sweat themselves. They take down Columbus Academy 48-7. And then how about this? The Berg, they get it done against Union Local. A little close, 28-23, but they were up pretty big, and Union Local got some late points that chipped away.
They threw an interception at the very end of the game for Wheelersburg to seal it. So, with Wheelersburg missing that field goal late in the game and Union Local having a chance, it was a close one. But Wheelersburg, again, surprising victory just for the seed alone that they're ranked at.
And guess what it sets up? Once again, Wheelersburg will play Harvest Prep in the playoffs for the third year in a row. Man, you think they're sick of each other? I know Wheelersburg ain't sick of them.
Is it Berg versus West Musk? Or is it
Berg versus
I think it's Ironton versus Prep next week, and Berg versus West Musk.
Prep? Well, that's another matchup that's got boatloads of playoff performance. And man, Berg, West Musk, 7 or 14 is going to the regional final.
I feel like that is a super interesting matchup.
Yeah, no, that is right, because Fairland would have been the 2, and they if Barnesville won, they would have been the 3. That would have been the matchup. Mm-hmm. So yeah, West Musk Wheelersburg, that's a fun game, man. That's a really good game. And then
the Ironton and Prep one's going to be
Prep classic. 2 teams again that are built for each other. Mm-hmm. Then in Region 23, like I said, it went scratch. Grandview Heights scraped one against Colonel Crawford, 13-6. Northmore and Ridgewood had no such issues. 39-7, Northmore over Centerburg, and Ridgewood 34, Newcomers Town 14, and that old IVC rivalry. And then, as we mentioned, Fort Fry clawing it out against Waterford 29-26. Portsmouth West fell a little bit surprisingly. St. Bernard Elmwood Place rolls into town as a 5 seed and kind of decimates Portsmouth West.
From start to finish.
Yeah, 49-21 the final. The Titans. I think Eric had this one.
He did.
Eric called
he liked
this
one.
the
long name school.
Well, he nailed it, and both long name schools got it done. Rock Hill fought valiantly but fell to Cincinnati Country Day 56-20. Then in Region 27, really only one game with intrigue. Danville had this a funny score. Danville 60, Portsmouth Notre Dame 2.
They got on the scoreboard.
And it was 60-0 So interesting circumstances.
You think Danville elected that safety?
Yeah,
just
might have done the
Fry.
same thing. Might have done the same thing. No, you're right. South Gallicourse fall to Beaver Eastern 41-6 was the final in that one, and then Conant Valley wins 26-22. I think at the back half of this break we might hear from Carl, or think we're going to hear from the General here. He's calling in. We're going to take a break before we talk to the General. You're listening live to Football Friday Night, presented by General Mills.
The General Mills Company of Wellston, manufacturers of great items like Totino's Pizza and Totino's Pizza Rolls, are proud to be a part of the Southern Ohio community. The General Mills Company, just like its hard-working employees in Southern Ohio, are proud supporters of our area youth. The General Mills Company wishes good luck to all area high school teams this season. A message from your friends at General Mills Company in Wellston.
Tired of that annoying drip? Call Rogers Plumbing and More. With over 20 years of experience, Rogers Plumbing and More has been your trusted local expert for residential plumbing. From leaky faucets to major repairs and renovations, Rogers is your go-to for all your plumbing needs. Call Rogers Plumbing and More at 740-447-4589. Rogers Plumbing and More. We fix it right the first time. Visit us online at rogersplumbingandmore.com.
At Adventure Pro Outdoors, we are the experts in outdoor fun. Spend the day on the Hocking River, canoeing, kayaking, or tubing. Sling some mud through Wayne National Forest on a guided Polaris side-by-side tour. Or book a 3-wheeled slingshot and experience the most scenic highways in Southeast Ohio.
Come meet the Adventure Pro staff on Canal Street in Nelsonville, Ohio.
New memories start here. Visit AdventureProOutdoors.com.
Trying to find a durable new look for your retail office, house, garage, or new barn dominium? Higgins Steel Roofing and Siding has added 2 new profiles within the past year that would make great options. A heavier 26-gauge metal board and batten with several colors to choose from adds a fresh new look to any project regardless of size. Or come in and check out our new options for standing seam. If it's steel roofing and siding, it comes from Higgins. Located in Hillsboro and Jackson, Higgins Steel Roofing and Siding. Family owned and operated since 1958.
Calling all hunters and outdoor enthusiasts. It's time to gear up for your next adventure with our buy one, get 2 free sale on select styles at Rocky Outdoor Gear Store. That's right, 3 pairs of boots for the price of 1. Whether you plan to hit the deer woods this fall, need new hiking boots for the trails, or even a new pair of work boots, we've got you covered. So don't miss out. Stop and see us today at the Rocky Outdoor Gear Store. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Come get fully set up for the fall at the Rocky Outdoor Gear Store.
Are you looking to make a difference in a child's life? At Necco Foster Care, we believe every child deserves a loving home. Join our community of caring families and provide a safe, nurturing environment for kids in need. With support and training every step of the way, you can be the change a child needs. Are you ready to open your heart and home? Contact Necco Foster Care today and make a lasting impact. Visit necco.org or call 740-263-2626. Together, we can create brighter futures. Necco, we build families.
Back in the studio, it is Football Friday Night, presented by General Mills. I'm Ethan Sargent. Eric Bub Landrum are here with me. And also, we've got the General on the line, Jeff Davis. General, do we have you? Oh, do we?
I mean, I expect him to be a little bit quiet tonight, but not this quiet.
Yeah, I don't know. Something may not be working 100%. We'll work on that. Give us a sec. But again, the Waverly fell, unfortunately, tonight to Indian Valley. 49-14 was the final.
Yeah, I mean, they started off really well. Like, they opened up just like last week with that scoring drive.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they just couldn't get enough rolling offensively throughout the game.
Do we have you now?
I don't know, do you?
There we go. There we go. We fixed what we needed to fix. We've got the General on the line. How we doing?
Hey, you know what? Remarkably doing pretty good. I'm telling you what, my Tigers left it on the field tonight against a very significant opponent.
Yeah, so take it, like we say, like we usually do, take us through it. I mean, it was close early. They battled.
Well, it definitely was. The Tigers took the ball, won the toss, took the ball, and went down and scored, man. I mean, just like last week. The problem is they scored on their very first play on the next series. And, we talked about that back they had, and if you guys watched the stream, we talked before the game that, we don't know if we want to see that guy. They've been holding him out, but if we do see him, it means we're doing well. And of course, he came in, and I'm telling you, I've been doing this a long time. He's about as good as I've seen, and he's only at about 75-80%. Just so strong and tough to tackle. But the Tigers fought hard, down 14-7 at the half. But early in the second half, it became very apparent that we just didn't have enough gas. We ran out of gas without question.
Yeah, and again, it was always going to be an uphill battle, but clearly the fight was there, like you said. Who do you think were the standouts tonight for the Tigers?
Well, the Tigers seniors, we talk about Mason Kelly. He continued to show us why, he's a 3-year starter, and he extended plays tonight. The Tigers had over 400 total yards, and 290, I believe, came on his arm. He threw a couple picks late. But he was stellar throughout the game. Mason Sparks had another big game. The seniors were great. They left it on the field for their last game. And I think, Sebastian Bilasano, the tailback that has gotten better week after week. But, absolutely a juggernaut in this Indian Valley squad. And it's not just the Kinsey running back. They had 2 or 3 others, plus the quarterback was a load himself, and he could deliver the football through the air.
Yeah, and again, I think that, that sets up a matchup next week between Indian Valley and New Lexington, where that's just heavy hitters, 2 heavy hitters, and I can't pick that one.
It certainly is, and my only question about Indian Valley is, defensively we were able to move the ball effectively the entire game with over 400 yards offense. The problem is we gave up over 600 to them, but. My point being, they sat back. They only had 3 down linemen most of the time, and they tried to keep everything in front. And for the most part, they did that. The high school teams are going to make mistakes. But the Tigers, in the first time in Matt Snodgrass and I's career, I believe that Waverly I know we won the time of possession by over 10 minutes. And I can't remember a single game since 2008 where we won the time of possession. That's just not how we typically roll. But we did that tonight.
Yeah, and I think, when you were looking at it and trying to figure out that, ball control was going to be a big factor, a big aspect. So, again, now we'll zoom out a little bit, Jeff. Obviously, this season had its ups and it's had its downs for the Tigers. How would you kind of assess the full 2024 season of Waverly football?
Well, there's no question that there was some disappointments there. As we watched teams early in the season, we thought there was a real chance the Tigers go 8-2. 7-3, and it just didn't work out that way. Portsmouth West came from out of nowhere. Right after 2 weeks, we were questioning them what they were going to do, and all they did was turn it all around and end up, with 2 home games in the playoffs. Yeah. But unable to get it done against them, and then a really tough one down at Northwest. And like I said that week, give them a lot of credit for physically giving it to us. But up and down year. But overall, the neat part about high school sports and high school football in particular is next man up. Those guys that we lose tonight, those Masons and Cody Swords and Bilasano, a couple of years ago when we first saw them, you didn't know what you had. You're like, who's this guy? Who's this number 1 Mason Pollard? Yep. Well, 2 years later, you know exactly who he is.
Yeah, and I think that's, again, I wholeheartedly agree with you. It's part of what makes high school so much fun, and it's going to be a big miss. So I guess keeping with the end of season tone, obviously you lose some of those guys, but who are some guys that are coming back that might be some big players for next season?
Well, the Tigers are going to return everybody up front on the offensive line. You have to replace the quarterback, the back, and a lot of those receivers. But Gunner and Sawyer Myers are going to come back. Gunner's a potential quarterback next year. Hez Nelson is a receiver that'll be back. Cage Alexander will be back. And a number of other players for the Tigers, Landon Ramey, will be back on the defensive side. So, when you've got your guys up front with experience, you got a chance. So hopefully we'll see that, but it's going to be fun to find out. We'll be there as long as nobody fires us between now and then.
Oh man, well I know we tried to give you guys the good luck because we gave you the sweep last week and you guys pulled it out. We tried it.
Yeah, listen, I know Bub didn't take us. He gave me some BS about not wanting to break a string.
Listen, I'm a superstitious man, and I know that I can't pick worth a heck this year.
How'd you do tonight, Bub?
There's a lot of X's. Unlike my relationship life, there's a lot of X's.
Well, I got a lot of those in my relationship life, so I got a lot of exes there. So that's a conversation for a different night, though, man.
Oh, man. Well, I guess the last thing I'll ask you before we let you go is, I don't know if you saw anything else that went on tonight. What were some things that did you see anything that perked you?
Well, I mean, I saw, Ironton took care of business against Portsmouth, but how about the Eastern Eagles? It was questionable, after having a tough one at South Gallia, but boy, they came to Beaver and they found out the claw is the law tonight, didn't they?
Yeah.
I love that. The claw is the law.
Claw is indeed
absolutely.
The
law. And I can't say enough about what Scott Tomlinson has done with that football program, starting it, and he's still there. And, I mean, they are a force at the D7 level for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I would 100% agree.
So next week, I might get to see them play live, or I might find out where you guys are and bum rush the show. I don't know yet.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see. We're still working on that ourselves, and we're I don't know. That game's going to be a lot of fun. There's some great games set up for next week. So, well,
yeah,
Jeff,
hey, I look forward to it, and I've had a great time calling in with you guys.
Yeah, we always appreciate having you on. Thanks for covering Waverly, and we appreciate your coverage as always.
All right, brother. You guys keep it up, and Bub, you don't have to worry about making me mad on your picks next week.
Hey, I'm still waiting on that hat.
All right, have a good one, Jeff.
See you,
have
Jeff.
a great night.
All right, buddy. Later, man.
Man, the General. We'll miss having him call in. It's always great to hear from the General, Jeff Davis, over at Waverly. And again, Waverly, with what I would say a pretty successful year. Obviously they fell short, in the conference a little bit, playing some tough teams and a very good SOC too, with some great football in there. Lose tight to Wheeler, or lose a tough one to Berg, lose a tough one to Portsmouth West. And again, winning the playoff game, always big, always good to win a playoff game. And
yeah, I mean, the seniors leave a legacy on the program.
Yeah, exactly. So, let's see. I think what we'll do now, we'll take another commercial break, and I think we're going to have Carl Blaylock call in, and he can talk to us about Trimble, Connaught, and Valley, because I'm kind of itching.
Yeah, I really need to hear
about this game, because it seemed like it was close, and it seemed like it came down the last couple of minutes. So I'm going to tell Carl to call in while we're in this commercial break, and we should have him on the other side here. You're listening to Football Friday Night, presented by General Mills.
Hungry for some home-cooked goodness just like Grandma's? Come on down to Mammy's Country Kitchen in Albany. Whether it's our mouth-watering meatloaf, crisp salads, or our creamy mashed potatoes, we've got something to satisfy every craving. Savor some of our homemade noodles, rolls, and desserts. At Mammy's, we believe in good food and great company. Bring your family and friends and stay a while. We're located in the historic Albany Schoolhouse on the hill behind the library. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 8, Saturday and Sunday, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Mammy's Country Kitchen, where every meal feels like home.
Looking for a home away from home for your furry friend? Welcome to Red Woof Inn, where tails wag and dreams come true. At Red Woof, we offer spacious play areas, cozy naps, and personalized care from our dedicated team. Whether your pup loves fetch or just snuggling, we've got it covered. Our facilities are top-notch, and our staff are dog lovers through and through. From playtime adventures to treat-filled cuddle sessions, we ensure your pup has a blast. Give your dog a vacation they'll love at Red Woof Inn, located on Old Dixon Road in MacArthur. Call 740-649-8640 to book your fur baby stay while spots are still available.
This is XYZ Insurance. How can I help?
I have a question about my home policy.
Okay, question about phone policy.
Home policy.
Okay, gnome policy.
HOME, home.
Technology is great, but sometimes it's better to talk with a real person. With Erie Insurance, you have a caring, independent agent who's with you from beginning to end. Your Erie agent is McFadden Insurance. Get a quote today by calling 753-1905. Go to erieinsurance.com for company licensure and product details.
Southeast Appalachian Regional Community Health of Ohio is proud to present The Search Project. The Search Project through the Jackson County Health Department is a program designed to decrease the negative impacts of COVID-19 and other public health issues and promote healthy behaviors through the deployment of community health work. The project is funded by CDC and serves 11 counties in southeastern Ohio. For more information, contact the Jackson County Health Department at 740-935-6322.
Looking to buy or sell a home in Southern Ohio? Turn to Howard Hanna Real Estate Services and the McNerlin Network team. We offer a full range of services including mortgages, insurance, and title services to ensure a smooth process. Our new Buy Borrow Bundle program can save buyers up to $10,000 at closing and attract more buyers when selling. Ready to get started? Call 740-702-6000 or text 614-607-8201 for a free consultation. Howard Hanna Real Estate Services, where your home happens here.
Football season is here. Keep your athletes at their best with Holzer in Athens. Dr. Jason Cox Orthopedics and Dr. Aaron Ramsey Chiropractic Care are currently accepting new patients. From follow-up care to injury repair, our healthcare team at Holzer Athens will keep your athlete in the game. Call 855-446-5937 to schedule your appointment today. That's 855-446-5937.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, 988 provides a direct connection to free, confidential, and compassionate support. When you call, text, or chat 988, you'll be quickly connected to trained crisis counselors who will listen to your concerns, provide support, and connect you to additional resources if needed. There is hope. The Lifeline works. You are not alone in crisis. For 24/7 confidential support, just call, text, or chat 988. Brought to you by the Suicide Prevention Coalitions of Athens, Gallia, Jackson, Meigs, and Pike counties.
Need new tires? Rick's Tire and Auto has you covered. Looking for top-notch auto service? Rick's Tire and Auto has expertise. And now they're bringing their A-game to Athens County. Owned by Rick Dieter, formerly of Huddle Tire in Athens. Rick's Tire and Auto Service is located at 1353 East Canal Street in Nelsonville. Right off the first Nelsonville exit on 33 West. Stop in for a quick tire change or oil change or schedule an appointment by calling 220-218-4169. At Rick's Tire and Auto, we have your vehicle covered.
Welcome back to Football Friday Night. If you're listening to us on any of our radio stations or if you're tuning in to us live on YouTube, we've got, I think, 11 people in the stream right now. So we appreciate all of y'all who are hanging out with us here on Friday night, 10:34 p.m. And we got another good friend of mine on the line right now, the one, the only, Mr. Carl Blaylock, live from up in what is it, Beaverton? What's the town called?
No, it was Bowerstown.
Bowerstown.
And now I'm in Ulrichsville.
Oh, there we go.
Ulrichsville is the thing. Try to spell that correctly.
I'm not even going to try. Well, Carl, you were there. You saw what was a pretty close game, 26-22. Conotton Valley takes down the Trimble Tomcats. Give us viewers the story of this one, a bridged version.
Well, first half was a defense. It was really kind of a trial-out period because you have a team that in Trimble that runs the ball a ton and it doesn't see a potent passing offense really all that often. And you had a team in Conotton Valley who has that passing offense but doesn't really see a running offense very often. And so the defense has struggled in the first bit. There wasn't a stop until about midway through the second quarter. By that point, each team had already gone down and scored 2 touchdowns. It seemed like it was going to be a time of whoever had the ball last was going to end up winning the game. But we knew early it was going to come down to turnovers, and Trimble had a few big ones. They turned the ball over late. They get it stopped, finally, their first stop of the game. They get the ball back with about 1:50 to go in the first half, have an opportunity to do something, and they started taking a few big hits. Brady J6 took a few big hits towards the end of that first quarter because despite not seeing, very many running teams, Conotton Valley was very physical. And so J6 took a few big hits. He needed to take a few plays off. He wasn't 100%. He had to take a few plays off. Aiden Dixon went in. He fumbled the ball. On like about the second play of that drive. Conotton Valley got the ball, went in and scored a touchdown to take a 26-16 lead, and then Trimble fumbled the ball again. They had a little bit of a swing pass. It was actually, I believe it was a double pass, and ball just got squirted free on the tackle. Conotton Valley got the ball back, but they fumbled it themselves, and Trimble dodged a bullet there. to keep that at only a 10-point game at the half. And then the second half started disastrously for Trumbull as well. It rolled over onto the opening kickoff, which was kicked right at one of the frontmen of the Tomcats, bounced off of him right into a Rocket player's hand. And so Conotton Valley has the ball at the 50, going to drive to go up 3 touchdowns or 3 scores. And that was, it was gut punch time for the Tomcats, and it was really impressive how well they responded because, it's a Phil Ferris coach team, and it's something to where you expect them to respond to those situations, but you weren't sure if they were going to. They get the stop there, and that was a big point in this game. And that next drive was probably the biggest point of that game, though. Trumbull puts together one of their patented drives. How many times over the years have we said that Trumbull puts together about a 15-play, takes up the whole quarter drive in for a touchdown? This one didn't, though, and that is something very key, is when you have those long, sustained drives, especially down 2 touchdowns. Trumbull can move the ball that way, but when you have those sustained drives, that drive took 8 minutes. It stalled out at the Conotton Valley 11-yard line. They failed to convert a 4th and 8, and there was only a quarter left in that game at that point. That was a big missed opportunity. They force a quick 3-and-out for Conotton Valley, and they drive down the field, score a touchdown with 7:23 to go, an Owen Sikorsky run, make it a 4-point game, get the 2-point conversion, or they did not get the 2-point conversion on that one, but make it 26-22. They force another stop with about 4.5 minutes to go, but then again, the only time they really had, especially in the second half, they had sustained success running the ball. But if they got pushed behind the sticks, if they got put into passing situations, they weren't able to do it. And they just weren't able to go quick enough late in that game. They weren't able to go quick enough, and they ended up stalling out around the 30-yard line with about 20 seconds left. They had to be able to pass the ball because they were slow. They got the ball with about 4.5 minutes to go in the game, and it took them 2.5 minutes to move 30 yards to get around midfield, and then they had to hurry it up a lot. And that was something to where it all boils back down to you needed to be able to convert on that drive in the third quarter where you took up 8-9 minutes.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And, well, first off, the biggest thing that and you kind of skirted over, how about the Trimble defense making adjustments in the second half? Did they hold Conotton Valley scoreless in the second half?
They did. They did hold Conotton Valley scoreless in the second half, and now a lot of that was the fact that Conotton Valley's offense was not on the field very much in that second half. But what they started doing is they dropped 8 back in coverage, and I couldn't exactly see what they were doing with the coverages on the sideline, but they adjusted there. In the second half, they came out, they dropped 8 back, only had a 3-man rush. They weren't able to get much of a rush on the quarterback, but they were able to drop back into coverage and force him to make some tougher throws. And it's going to be something, and you're going to want to know the name next week for our Beaver Eastern folks in Adam Putnam is the guy's name, and
he's a quarterback, right?
He's a good quarterback, and not only is he a good quarterback, but he has very good wide receivers. And that's really what led to Conotton Valley's success early in this game was Putnam could put the ball in a spot, and his receiver was able to adjust and get the ball. There was one that happened right in front of me, which was just so impressive, where he threw his wide receiver open, but the wide receiver had to go get the ball, and the wide receiver was able to adjust, kind of sidestep the Trumbull defender and make a shoulder-high catch. That's not something that I think you see very often in Southeast Ohio. Maybe you're Ironton, but Ironton even runs the ball more than they pass the ball. The only guy I could think of, maybe Ty Walker from a few years ago for Trumbull, or not Trumbull, excuse me, Ironton, as a guy who could make those sort of adjustments. But 2 or 3 people in Conotton Valley could do that, and that was something that was very impressive, and that's going to be tough to match up against for Beaver Eastern. But what Trumbull was able to do is they were able to lessen how much room that Putnam had to throw those balls into with dropping 8 back, and that was successful. And it also was Conotton Valley trying to figure out how to run the ball a little bit, and take a little bit of time off the clock. They weren't exactly the best at that tonight, but, they did well enough to get the job done. But, they were trying to waste time and not so much score in that second half. And that's part of the reason why they slowed down a little bit. But a lot of really good adjustments by that Tremble coaching staff that made this a closer game as well. And I'm interested to see how much Eastern Beaver is able to adjust off of that and go, hey, you know what, maybe we drop 8 back, or maybe we drop 7 back, get into a dime look, because Conotton Valley, I think maybe they had like 5 plays where they had somebody in the backfield with their quarterback. It was 5 wide most of the game. And so that's going to be something that Eastern's going to have to look at. And I'm sure they're going to look at this game, the game film tonight, to prepare for next week's game.
Yeah, and we saw this Eastern offense as well tonight. I'll not really even look close to being stopped, and should be a great quarterback duel next week with the Putnam quarterback Conotton Valley and Eric Manley over at Eastern. That's a battle of 2 very, very capable Division VII quarterbacks. Yeah. So I guess you kind of started to go into that there, Carl, but I want to elaborate on it a little bit more. If, that's the game next week, it's Eastern Conotton Valley for our Eastern Beaver fans out there who, again, were great tonight. What do you think the game plan will be for the Eagles if they want to keep going and go to a regional final?
Well, physicality is going to be one. Conotton Valley, they only have 25 kids, but they are very physical. And I think this is another thing that helped Tremble defensively in the second half. A lot of these kids are on both sides of the ball. I mean, this is a team last year that only had 19 kids. They only had 14 dressed last year for their playoff game. Yeah. Obviously this year with 25, they have a lot more, but they get tired. And so I think for Eastern, you have to be physical and you have to be methodical. You have to make them earn everything, especially, offensively, but especially defensively. Have them run all over the field. Have them chase everybody down. Have them take hit after hit after hit to where they are worn down by the end of that game. I think the big thing, if Tremble was able to have a little bit more time late in that game, I think that they do end up winning it if they had the time to just run the ball and chip it down, because Conotton Valley they gave up about 6-7 yards of rush. It was the only issue Tremble had is when they got into the passing situations. If you can sit there and be physical and force, long drives for this Conotton Valley team, they're going to be in trouble. And so that's going to be something to keep an eye on for Eastern. I think if you can keep your offense on the field and dominate time of possession, that's going to be huge towards a victory. I know that's not necessarily Eastern Beaver's style, a little bit more of a run and gun, but that might be something to where maybe you go into a little bit more of a West Coast set a little bit and, slant routes, out routes, short passes that forces Conotton Valley to be out on the field for a long time, because the longer the Rockets are on the field, the better your chances of winning the game is.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's going to be the key. And I think that, again, the Eagles, but from what I saw tonight, their offense was clicking in every aspect. The thing about the Eagles offense, and I was really impressed with this tonight, is how balanced it is. They can run and they can pass the ball. They're really effective on both sides. And they got a really good running back there. Yeah. They got a great, capable quarterback, multiple receivers. A lot
of trust in those receivers, too.
Yeah, Wyatt Richardson is a great receiver out there. You got a couple other guys who can make plays. I think that they can match up well, but the question is going to be, that this game could very easily spiral into a shootout. It could very quickly spiral into a shootout. Well, Carl, what are some other scores and games that caught your eye from around the 7-4-0 tonight?
So, because they gave us a score update on this early, and I was very surprised. You mentioned Eastern Beaver. First of all, them, doing what they did to South Gallia tonight was impressive. Also, Dover with an incredible comeback over Tri-Valley. Did not expect to see that score at the end. I know I saw a little bit of the wildness that happened at the end of the Waterford-Fort Fry game, and I also saw that you got to keep your head on a swivel, Ethan. You got to keep your head on a swivel on a sideline.
I was watching this play. It was unfortunate I wasn't filming because this kid makes an insane catch right in front of me, and The whole team starts sprinting down, and I hear it's like a stampede of gazelles or wildebeests coming right at me. And, I mean, I got out of the way enough. But
it didn't look like you got out of the way.
No, that video. Well, the video
on Twitter, and it looked like
the video cuts off at a bad time. I am okay. I did not. I was not harmed or fouled in any way. But
it looked like you were about to. It looked like you were about to get hit by like a car. It's like one of those things to where you, for me, for a lineman, it looked like you were about to get hit by 0-1 trap. It's one of those things to where you look over there and it's like, oh hey. But no, I think those were some surprising scores. I mean, another one I was pretty impressed with, Bloom Carroll losing to Licking Valley. I know that's one that, we talked about during the week. We talked about that with Cade Williamson, obviously our Licking County guy, and it was a big atmosphere up at Licking Valley. He talked about that and he thought that would be key, and I think that it was. Obviously they're going to have to, against Watterson, that's going to be tough for Licking Valley, but it's definitely surprising. I still think Watterson's the favorite in Division III, Region 11. I think Region 15, I still got to go Indian Valley. It's going to be Indian Valley until it's not. Division 5, Region 19, I'd say Ironton. Region 23, who is even left in Region 23? I guess Fort Fry in our area.
I would say that Northmore is the favorite.
I was going to say Northmore as well.
The way that they're playing right now, I think that they're the favorites in this region. They are sweeping people aside left and right. Grandview Heights struggled tonight against Colonel Crawford. And
only scored 13 points.
I know, and look, 13 points, wins you game. I guess it wins you some games, but it's not going to win you a game next week against a very, Fort Fry is going to punish you for those sort of mistakes. So, maybe another regional final on the cards for the Cadets could be possible.
Maybe this time they can actually make it up to Canton.
Yeah,
we'll see.
It could be possible.
Before I hop out, I do want to give a shout out to the Trimble Tomcat seniors, especially Owen Sikorsky. I mean, those kids left everything out onto the field tonight. I mean, Sikorsky, you could see he had. He left everything out. That last drive, he was in and out of the ball game because he was trying to push his body, honestly, but past his limits. The final play of the game ended up being a swing pass over to him. He wasn't able to catch the ball. I don't think he was going to be able to get there anyways. It was well covered, but he just sat. He just sat there and was on the ground for about a minute. It's something that after the game, this is the last. These are the last moments for these seniors. As somebody who lost in one of those games, and I'm sure Bub. I'm not sure if you guys made the playoffs in your years. When you were playing,
I got shelled by Eaton by 20.
Oh yeah, well yeah. Especially in games that you feel like you were in. Like I remember my junior year, we played in the regional final, Edgerton against Macomb, and we should have won that game. We had a bad week of practice. It snowed that week, and on the Thursday we were too busy throwing snowballs and not practicing, and it cost me a state title. But
looking backward,
it's something to where it's something to where those moments, especially after a loss, are so tough. But he did a good job. The entire Tomcat senior team did a really good job. They kept fighting, and they definitely could have rolled over, especially after that onside kick to start the half. They didn't. They kept fighting. That's what Phil Ferris coaches that team to do, and that's what they were able to do. And they don't come out on the right side of the score tonight, but that's going to be a team. As long as Phil Ferris is there, Trumbull is going to be a team that will do that and will fight for every inch.
Yep, and I 100% agree with you on that. That's kind of the Tomcat way. That's how they do things down there, and it's a pretty tried and true formula, and it works a lot of the time. And unfortunately, tonight they come up just short. Conant Valley wins 26-22. Well, Carl, enjoy your day up in Canton tomorrow. Enjoy the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Should be a nice day for it.
I'm excited.
Yeah, should be a good time. Glad you're there safe. Get home safe, and I will see you later this weekend. Thanks for helping us out all year.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, we got plenty more to talk about here on Football Friday Kickoff, but we're going to take a break when we come back. On the other side of this break, I think we're going to hear from Athens broadcaster Daniel Bernard. So should have a little Athens breakdown here as well. We've had a couple more of those. So You're continuing to listen to Football Friday kickoff. We're past that. So Football Friday night, presented by General Mills.
Tired of that annoying drip? Call Rogers Plumbing and More. With over 20 years of experience, Rogers Plumbing and More has been your trusted local expert for residential plumbing. From running toilets to hot water tanks on the brink, Rogers is your go-to for all your plumbing needs. Call Rogers Plumbing and More at 740-447-4589. Rogers Plumbing and More. We fix it right the first time. Visit us online at rogersplumbingandmore.com.
The General Mills Company of Wellston, manufacturers of great items like Totino's Pizza and Totino's Pizza Rolls, are proud to be a part of the Southern Ohio community. The General Mills Company, just like its hard-working employees in Southern Ohio, are proud supporters of our area youth. The General Mills Company wishes good luck to all area high school teams this season. A message from your friends at General Mills Company in Wellston.
Are you craving mouth-watering, finger-licking barbecue that'll have you coming back for more? Look no further than Pig Iron Smokehouse Barbecue and Grill, where real wood and real flavor rules supreme. Sink your teeth into our signature smoked ribs, tender pulled pork, and juicy brisket, all slow-cooked to perfection with our secret blend of spices. And don't forget our delectable sides. From creamy mac and cheese to tangy coleslaw, there's something to satisfy every craving. Come visit us at our location in the Plains or online. Pig Iron Smokehouse Barbecue and Grill, real wood, real flavor.
Are you tired of dealing with malfunctioning garage doors? Look no further than True Track Garage Doors in Londonderry. Our team of experienced technicians specialize in garage door repairs, installation, and maintenance services. Whether you need a simple repair or a brand new garage door installation, we've got you covered. At True Track Garage Doors, we prioritize customer satisfaction and ensure that your garage door is functioning properly and safely. Contact us today at 740-596-1000 to schedule an appointment or request a free estimate. Call True Track to get you back on track.
Are you age 55 plus and ready to make a difference in your community? COAD's AmeriCorps Senior Retired Senior Volunteer Program allows seniors age 55 and up who pass a background check to help with community-based services such as veteran services, disaster relief, and environmental care through local nonprofits. If this interests you, please contact Danielle Woodyard at 740-286-4918 or email dwoodyard@coadinc.org. COAD, the Corporation for Ohio Appalachian Development, is here to help you and the community.
Everyone knows Nick's Station is home to Footlong Fridays. But did you also know that it's home to the best burgers and milkshakes in town? Bring your kids for a soft serve ice cream treat or have some quality time with family and friends with a delicious lunch or dinner at Nick's. Nick's Station is located at 1111 Chestnut Street in Nelsonville and open Tuesday through Sunday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Come on down to Nick's Station in Nelsonville, home to Footlong Fridays and fresh, delicious food and ice cream treats, served up quickly with a smile.
Back on Football Friday night, it's Ethan Sargent. We got Bub Landrum here with me. Eric should be joining us here sooner rather than later, but as is typical on these Friday nights, he's always busy getting other logistical stuff done here. So that we're not 100% sure yet if we're gonna go or not next week. I think we're gonna have that conversation this weekend. We're gonna let tonight sit. We'll have to wait and see at this point. Not a lot of our teams, unfortunately, made it through. So we're gonna have to have a look. We'd love to.
Week in the 7-4.
It was a pretty brutal week for some Southeast Ohio teams. I was just talking to some colleagues of mine at Gridiron Glory. They lost. They're down to 5. It could be 6 if Miller wins, but they're down to 5 teams in the coverage area.
My goodness,
the nightmare scenario. One of my buddies just texted me. The nightmare scenario was 4. It was 4 was the bare minimum, and then this is a verbatim text. 4 teams was the bare minimum, and the nightmare scenario pretty much happened.
I would say overachieved a little bit.
I mean, losing Tri-Valley hurts bad.
Yeah, that was one I just wasn't expecting.
No, I think losing. I mean, you were gonna. There were a few games where you knew you were gonna lose one, like Ironton Portsmouth, Lulex, Logan Elm, Fairland, West Musk, but Gettenberg win is nice because I don't believe they covered Union Local. Losing Portsmouth West, losing Rock Hill, just losing Trimble.
Yeah, and then you just had a couple teams kind of cannibalize each other with the Fort Fry and Waterford.
Exactly. Yep. So, well, I mean, what do you think is the biggest eye popper tonight? We're waiting for Daniel to call in. He's on the road right now, but I know he is planning on calling us in. But
it's got to be the Dover and Tri-Valley just because of the way it ended. To have confidence in your kicker to kick a 42-yard field goal after you just missed that one pretty significantly from about 28 out, 30 out. So I thought Dover rallying back and getting it to where they could get that field goal range, and then shutting down Tri-Valley when they did have a chance to get the ball back. So Dover, a very impressive victory.
I got two. I'm going to start with the, what was I going to do? Oh, the West Musk. That's what I was going to do. 33-7, you roll into Fairland and just stomp them. That was a stomping.
Yeah, it was.
And, now they give themselves an opportunity against Wheelersburg next week to, make something happen. Make something, right? Give yourself a shot. Yep. And, they have a shot at their first ever regional final. And that would be something special. And then my other one, and I know we've got, I believe, all three of our Beaver Eastern commentary crew are listening live on YouTube right now. They're in the comments. I see the comments.
They're probably at Sully celebrating.
They might be. It wouldn't surprise me. We got Mike. Mike's in the chat. Rockin' Raj is in the chat. They're all there. They're excited. Third Ferguson's in the chat. They're all ready to go.
Heck yeah. Beaver's bumping
tonight. That was going to be my next one because I think they sent the message tonight.
They did.
You go up and this is a team again. They beat by 1 point. 1 point just 3 weeks ago. And again, I mentioned this on the pregame, and I want to bring this point back up. That when I talked to Coach Tomlinson, and very nice guy, and I said, Coach, tell me about that game 3 weeks ago. He's like, man, it felt like a loss. Mm-hmm. We won, but it felt like a loss. And you could tell that they kind of, they took it a little personal, that they let it be that close. And, they left no doubt tonight.
Yeah, they definitely did that.
They left zero doubt. And just an extremely impressive victory in all senses. And now, it's the first ever Week 2 playoff win in Eastern history. They now get the opportunity to play in their first ever regional semifinal next week against Conotton Valley. And then you've got Danville will play the winner of Miller and Steubenville Central. Again, as we start, as we hit the 11 o'clock hour here in just a second, we've got, a couple of great matchups to look forward to next week. But yeah, it's just a real statement win.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing about Eastern Beaver, and I think I'm ready to say it, especially after you made the notes about the records that they are breaking, they're probably the most motivated team in the high school football playoffs right now.
They are.
For only a 10-year program, everything that you do going forward, you're setting records. You're raising the bar. Eastern Beaver has the most to play for in these playoffs, and I think that's a big reason as to why you're seeing the score differential this week be so much more significant than earlier in the regular season against South Gallia.
Well, I think that's such a big difference. That's such a big, as Mike tells me not to call him Jeff. It'll be easy now because I didn't call you Jeff. We just talked to the real Jeff on the radio. So
that was a little slip up. He took a little offense to that.
Well, I don't blame him. It's not me.
I was gonna say Jeff's crazy. Mike's crazy too. Though.
And Jeff's probably still listening, and I think he'd probably agree with me on this. I think Mike's got him beating the calm factor.
Yeah.
But again, that's on me. On me, Mike.
I will say, Mike can get Sully's rocking though on a Wednesday or Thursday night.
I kind of want to. I was there. I mean, again, you guys, these Eastern guys, I got to tell you, I went to Sully's at halftime, got myself a personal pizza. I guess I can look up here. I got myself.
Look him in the eyes.
I got myself a personal pizza, and I got myself some cheese curds, and I got myself this nice water that I still got the good ice. They got the good crushed ice that they have at Sonic.
Yeah,
it's my favorite type of ice. And you probably shouldn't eat it, but whatever, I still do.
I was going to ask you if you got a milkshake, but it was too cold by the time you got there.
I would have. I like milkshakes too. I can drink them when they're cold, but I was just too full. I had it was the nachos earlier, the milkshake, and I had too many nachos. So But it was delicious. I have to go back there at some point. And the staff was all so gracious and so nice.
They're so inviting, so welcoming.
Super,
I mean, you just don't want to leave.
I mean, yeah, I was sitting there talking for like 10 minutes while I was waiting for them to cook the pizza. So it was really just a great night, great little spot. Just a good little spot. Nice little kind of hole in the wall type thing. It was really nice. I'd definitely go back for sure.
It gives off retro vibes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's what he's saying. 740 show this Thursday. You'll have to talk to Eric above. Maybe I'll swing by. Maybe I'll have to swing by. I guess I've never made an appearance.
Oh, we'll be there.
Show. Maybe I'll swing by.
Listen, you don't have to. The milkshakes are worth it. I had the graham cracker at marshmallow, the s'mores one, and then I had the cookie dough one today. I'm on day 3 of 3 straight milkshakes.
Wow.
I need to slow down.
Nah, you don't need to slow down.
I was going to say, I'll be back there Thursday next week.
Hey, man, I think that might be an excuse for me to go down there and get a milkshake.
Yeah, absolutely. Come on down.
Maybe we'll hop by. I haven't been on the 740 show yet. Maybe we'll make an appearance. We'll see. I'll have to check the schedule, but it should be fine because the Bobcats play on Wednesday night this week.
So. It's going to be a busy weekday.
Yeah, we got a busy week coming up. We'll be for those of you who are listening on Pure Rock 105, we've got the Bobcat Tailgate coming back this week from Action edition of Bobcat Tailgate. We just got that confirmed today. We'll be live at 4 p.m. Eastern. We got 2 hours to talk to y'all. We got a lot of stuff. We're gonna have to get a lot of stuff planned. It's probably not gonna be as crazy as it's been with there's not gonna be, unfortunately, no Bobcat Boulevard, none of the accommodation stuff, but we're still gonna have a lot of fun on the Bobcat pregame show. So we're gonna talk Bobcat football, we're gonna talk Bobcat athletics. It's been a busy couple of weeks for that, and we're gonna talk about a lot of different other things. So make sure to tune into that Wednesday night for Bobcat football, of course, with Marty Bannister and Rob Cornelius. They'll be on the call for the Bobcats hosting Ypsilanti's finest. The Eastern Michigan Eagles come to town.
Ypsilanti?
Yeah, Bobcats are 4-1. Don't look now. 4-1 in conference, 6-3. So
yeah, they got. I mean, they're tied for first. I believe with 4 teams right now.
Mm-hmm. 4-way tie with Miami, Bowling Green, and there's Western Michigan.
Yeah, right. and they just Toledo, took their first loss to NIU this week.
Toledo is sniffing around. Mm-hmm. Toledo is absolutely sniffing around. Well, speaking of Athens and speaking of the Bulldogs, we have got, hopefully, safely driving home, probably on Route 77 right about now. We got Daniel Bernard, the voice of the Bulldogs. Daniel, how we doing?
Hey, good. How you guys doing tonight?
Oh, doing good.
We're doing all right. You, how far are you into this drive?
Yeah, we got about an hour and 15 or so left to go, so we're a little over halfway back.
All right, well, we're making some progress.
Pretty quiet drive back, so knock on wood.
We'll help you pass some time here in the car ride with talking a little bit about Athens football. And really, let's start off with this game. Obviously, 35-14 the final. Athens end up falling just a bit short to Steubenville, but from what I was seeing and what I was reading, they put up a great fight and they fought very valiantly. Yeah,
they did. I mean, the score is one thing. Athens scored twice in the final 4 minutes of the game, so they were down 35-0 at one point. It was 21-0 at half. Steubenville's offense was just, that's one of the best offenses that I've seen in a long, long time. Yeah. Probably one of the best I've seen in Southeast Ohio, if you still want to call them Southeast Ohio. But, their quarterback, Aiden Davis, his ability to throw on the run was just unlike anything that Athens has seen all year. Their tight end, Nolan Blackburn, he just got open every play. He made a spectacular catch on a deep ball, 50-yard play. It's just that when I talked with Coach White yesterday, I asked him what stood out on film when he watched film on Steubenville, and he said, in short, everything. And everything stood out to me tonight. Like that was backed up. They are a very, very good football team. But yeah, you talked about Athens competing and stuff. They had multiple chances in the first half. They were in the red zone twice. Daniel Highland overthrew Weston Wheatley on a little wheel route that was a walk-in touchdown if it's on the money in the red zone, and then they got down 4th and 1 from the 2-yard line and shot themselves in the foot again with a false start, and then couldn't get in. So they had a couple chances in the first half to make it an interesting game. They just couldn't find a way to do it, and then Steubenville ended up running away with it. But, Alex Piro got in the second half with about 4 minutes left. Leo Martin got a touchdown, so they got their they got a couple of those seniors, one final score, so that was good to see.
Good.
But yeah, it was a lot closer than the score really looked because Athens was able to move the ball very well.
Yeah,
Alex Piro was really strong on the ground again.
Yeah, that was what I was reading, is that Piro was having himself a very nice night. I think third or fourth most yards in Athens playoff history, which when you think about the characters, especially, you think about back to a decade ago, and that team getting on that leaderboard is impressive. So,
you get Trey back there. That was a different breed. But yeah, Alex was really strong on the ground. We were talking with several people up in the press box tonight for Steubenville, and they even said, they were like, yeah, this Piro kid, he's one of the best running backs we've seen all year. So it wasn't just Athens that notices that. It was high praise all around. He had himself one heck of a season and backed it up last week and tonight as well. He was a very special player for this team.
Yeah, and I guess it's a good segue again with the Athens season coming to a close tonight to talk about some more of these seniors who, obviously we've talked about Piro, talked about Leo Martin a lot as well. But who are some other guys that probably deserve a little shout out here? I like what Carl did there when he talked about it. As their Bulldog career comes to a close.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you could start with Caden Bykowski. He's a wide receiver, safety. He punts too. He had himself very quietly had himself a really nice season. He led the team in interceptions. He had a few touchdowns through the air. He had a punt tonight that was downed inside the 1 yard line in the first quarter. So he made his presence felt in all three phases all season. So he's one of those guys that will be missed as well. You got up on the lines, you got Jacob Rainey and Isaiah Roberts just wreaking havoc all over the field. I mean, it was a very, very good senior class for the Bulldogs. Yeah, you got Dawson Kennedy. The linebackers. I got Matt Frazee talking in my ear next to me, reminding me of all the guys.
Nobody better to have talking to you.
Nobody better. But the three linebackers highlighted with Seth Hart. He had himself a catch tonight. It was just a really good senior class that a lot of guys will be missed. There's going to be quite a few roles to fill here going into next year.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that briefly, because while, they do lose a lot of talent, they bring back a decent amount of talent as well. I think about the running back position especially. Anthony Sutton, Weston Wheatley both return, and correct me if I'm wrong, and that's big. Having both of those guys back are monsters. They're both quick and powerful backs, and I think that could be something where the Athens could run the ball pretty effectively next year as well.
Yeah, we saw the ground attack this year, and when Alex and Weston both went down in that game against Alexander. I mean, Anthony Sutton didn't blink an eye. He was.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, Coach White told me that Anthony played running back in middle school coming up, so he stepped right in and he played really good at the running back position. But yeah, if I had to guess, I think it would be Weston. Obviously, he was the backup this year, so I think they and he played really well in that backup spot. So I think they give it to him next year with Anthony Sutton kind of complementing that when need be. But Matt and I were talking about it about an hour ago or so. And, we were talking about Anthony Sutton potentially could fill in as that Leo Martin type of guy on the outside, where he ran a lot of motion this year, but we could see him running a lot more deep routes next year with Heitland coming back. They're very familiar with each other, obviously. So, and his speed is just unreal. So he can fly past the secondaries. Once he gets, he would take a lot of jet sweeps this year to the outside. Once he gets to that outside, it's really, really tough to catch him. So if you get him on the outside as that number one type of wide receiver, and he can just get past the secondary pretty much every single time. So I feel like he's going to step into that role. Weston probably takes over at that running back position, and you got Heitland coming back, and that's really big too with everything that happened in the program this year, and the fact that Heitland was able to get into game action the back half of the year, and then even in these first two playoff games, that's going to serve really big dividends going into next year too, with the experience he got and playing on the defensive side of the ball too. Coach talked about all year how he feels like a natural at the position because he plays defense and he knows the defenses. So there's no doubt they're bringing talent back, but there's also no doubt that the talent that they're going to lose is going to be surely missed.
Yeah, and I guess the last thing I'll ask you while you guys drive back is, it's really, honestly, and I've thought about this a lot, thinking about the Athens season over the last couple of days. It's kind of tough to put a grade on this Athens season because obviously, looking at face value, it's a great year, 10-1 or 10-2, right? And the record speaks for itself. You win a playoff game for the first time since 2014. A lot to be a lot of success, but again, that Nelsonville York game is going to sting for a long time, what ended up happening, they were always up against it tonight and they fought valiantly, but they come up short. So, you're somebody who watched, every minute of Bulldog football this year, you and Matt. So how would you kind of assess Athens' season as a whole? Oh, we might have. It's 77 is a tough drive.
Yeah, it is. It not much connection there.
Hold on, Daniel. Do we have you?
Did you guys lose me for a second?
We did
there?
For a second, but you're back now.
Okay, I heard everything you were saying. So,
okay.
But yeah, it was a really, really good year. I mean, they dealt with a few injuries. Obviously, everything that went on with that program, the ability for guys to step up and step in and really not blink an eye. It was really cool to see. That's a group that has been together for a very long time. They've meshed and they've gelled together. It was a really, really cool team, really fun team to watch. I mean, I'll put you guys on speaker here. I'll have Matt answer.
Yeah, I'm happy to have Matt talk as well.
Yeah.
He's been Matt, one of the voices of the Bulldogs for a long time now.
Face value, just kind of what kind of season this was for this team.
I think everyone coming into the year thought that, if you could get to that 8-win mark, it was going to be a pretty good year. In comparison to years past and just kind of the progressions that we'd made from season to season leading up to this. So, to get to that 9-1 mark in the regular season and 10 wins on the season total, face value, I think it was overall was a smashing success. Again, it was as he said, it was a group of kids that have played together for a very long time. But let's not forget, just a couple of years ago, they were a group of kids that were taking their lumps, en route to just 2 and 3 wins. And last year they kind of made a little bit of a stride and won the last 5 in a row and got themselves playoff eligible. And then this year they made another huge leap. But this goes to show how good that senior class really was and what they were capable of doing. It was pretty impressive.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. And I think, again, all in all, it's a massively successful year for Athens. It's a program that has had its moments and has had its wild ups, a decade ago, and now, getting back to something similar to that, not quite that high height, but getting close to that level is certainly something that provides a lot of encouragement. And again, I think that the future is bright. I think that there is still a lot of talent in this program. They're going to lose some great talent in Alex Piro and Leo Martin and some of these other guys. Excuse me, but
I tell you, Ethan, I don't think the offense falls off as much.
I don't disagree.
The defense, I think, is where there's more pieces to fill there. We got to figure out who's going to fill those roles. Between Wharton and Kaiser and Hart, those 3 linebackers are going to be really tough to replace. Just what those 3 brought every week. Then you factor in that Martin and Wyckoff, you see you're missing a corner and a safety out of the group. So you got 5 really big defensive pieces to fill. But the good news is most of the line returns. 4 of the 5 offensive linemen return. So I think it bodes better for the offense than the defense. It may take the defense a little bit of time to catch up early on in the season. But again, the JV squad was pretty darn good this year. The freshman group was really good. There are pieces there. It's just we got to figure out which pieces make the puzzle fit right next year.
Yeah, and look, it's always good to hear. It's good for the area, and it's good for 740 football when the Athens Bulldogs are playing good football. And we saw that this year, and it was good to see them have the success that they did. Guys, get back to Athens safe. We appreciate all the work that both of you guys did this year, and make sure the Bulldogs know that they had a great year, and we appreciate being able to cover them.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you. Thank you for your hard work all season long too.
I appreciate you, Daniel. We'll make sure you get back to Athens safe, buddy.
Will do. Have a great rest of your show, guys.
Thank you.
See you later.
Always good to hear from those guys. And again, a great season for Athens. I say tough to judge because that game stings so much, right? I think that's the biggest thing. And it's a rivalry game. It costs you a conference title. It's just one that's going to sting for a while if you're a Bulldogs fan. And I think if there is any Athens fans out there listening to this, I think they'd agree with me. But at the same time, I don't think you can let that cloud what, again, all in all, was an A season. Like, this was the best year post, or if not the second best or best year post Joe Burrow. You won a playoff game, which is major.
Yeah.
You go 10-2, which is 10 wins in high school football is notable. That's a big deal. And again, a lot to build on. I didn't realize 4 or 5 linemen, and you think about bringing back Sutton and Wheatley, they're going to be able to run the football really well next year.
Yeah,
they're going to be a successful offense again.
And I think the biggest thing is, Ethan, is that they didn't let that loss to Nelsonville York define the rest of their season going into the playoffs. That's the
mark of a good and well-coached football team. Again, I really do think Coach Nathan White does a great job. I think he's a great coach. He does a good job at scheming. We've seen it in the past. He was a big part of that Burrow team. He was the quarterback's coach then. He was a big reason why Joe was able to have so much success. And then, for now, he takes the reins as the head coach now, and he's done a good job. But, when he took over, from Coach Adams, who was a legendary coach in his own right, it was a program that was kind of in a little bit of a transitionary period. And now he's kind of made it his own now. Nate White has stepped up, and he has made it his own program. And I think now I think Athens is going to be a team that's consistently going to be fighting for playoff spots, for playoff wins. And I think a TVC title is not too far down the line in their future. I think that they will get one here soon. Again, like Matt said, the talent is there at the JV level. It's a big community. They're bringing guys up. And I think that this is going to be a good team for a long time.
I agree with you.
So let's take another break. When we come back, plenty more to talk about here. We've got about 40 minutes left with you on Football Friday Night, presented by General Mills.
For 190 years, Austin Powder Company has been the name you can trust in the mining industry. Our legacy is built on safety, customer care, and a great workplace. From the first blast to the final haul, we've been there every step of the way. Ready to be part of our tradition of excellence? The Red Diamond Austin Powder plant in MacArthur is now hiring. Visit austinpowder.com or call 596-7940 to apply today and start your journey with a global leader in the industry. Why not come work for an exciting company offering great benefits, challenging opportunities, and with colleagues that feel like family? Austin Powder Company, improving the world we live in through safe and responsible use of explosives.
Tired of that annoying drip? Call Rogers Plumbing and More. With over 20 years of experience, Rogers Plumbing and More has been your trusted local expert for residential plumbing. From leaky faucets to major repairs and renovations, Rogers is your go-to for all your plumbing needs. Call Rogers Plumbing and More at 740-447-4589. Rogers Plumbing and More. We fix it right the first time. Visit us online at rogersplumbingandmore.com.
At Adventure Pro Outdoors, we are the experts in outdoor fun. Spend the day on the Hocking River, canoeing, kayaking, or tubing. Sling some mud through Wayne National Forest on a guided Polaris side-by-side tour. Or book a 3-wheeled slingshot and experience the most scenic highways in Southeast Ohio.
Come meet the Adventure Pro staff on Canal Street in Nelsonville, Ohio.
New memories start here. Visit AdventureProOutdoors.com.
Trying to find a durable new look for your retail office, house, garage, or new barn dominium? Higgins Steel Roofing and Siding has added 2 new profiles within the past year that would make great options. A heavier 26-gauge metal board and batten with several colors to choose from adds a fresh new look to any project regardless of size. Or come in and check out our new options for standing seam. If it's steel roofing and siding, it comes from Higgins. Located in Hillsboro and Jackson, Higgins Steel Roofing and Siding. Family owned and operated since 1958.
Calling all hunters and outdoor enthusiasts. It's time to gear up for your next adventure with our buy one, get 2 free sale on select styles at Rocky Outdoor Gear Store. That's right, 3 pairs of boots for the price of 1. Whether you plan to hit the deer woods this fall, need new hiking boots for the trails, or even a new pair of work boots, we've got you covered. So don't miss out. Stop and see us today at the Rocky Outdoor Gear Store. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Come get fully set up for the fall at the Rocky Outdoor Gear Store.
Hungry for some home-cooked goodness just like Grandma's? Come on down to Mammy's Country Kitchen in Albany. Whether it's our mouth-watering meatloaf, crisp salads, or our creamy mashed potatoes, we've got something to satisfy every craving. Savor some of our homemade noodles, rolls, and desserts. At Mammy's, we believe in good food and great company. Bring your family and friends and stay a while. We're located in the historic Albany Schoolhouse on the hill behind the library. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 8, Saturday and Sunday, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Mammy's Country Kitchen, where every meal feels like home.
Are you looking to make a difference in a child's life? At Necco Foster Care, we believe every child deserves a loving home. Join our community of caring families and provide a safe, nurturing environment for kids in need. With support and training every step of the way, you can be the change a child needs. Are you ready to open your heart and home? Contact Necco Foster Care today and make a lasting impact. Visit necco.org or call 740-263-2626. Together, we can create brighter futures. Necco, we build families.
Looking for a home away from home for your furry friend? Welcome to Red Woof Inn, where tails wag and dreams come true. At Red Woof, we offer spacious play areas, cozy naps, and personalized care from our dedicated team. Whether your pup loves fetch or just snuggling, we've got it covered. Our facilities are top-notch, and our staff are dog lovers through and through. From playtime adventures to treat-filled cuddle sessions, we ensure your pup has a blast. Give your dog a vacation they'll love at Red Woof Inn, located on Old Dixon Road in MacArthur. Call 740-649-8640 to book your fur baby stay while spots are still available.
Back in the studio, it's Football Friday.
Broadcasting from the Holzer Studios, taking local healthcare to the next level. We are Southeast Ohio's hometown rock station. Q Rock 105, WXTQ Athens, USA, a total media station.
Gotta get the station IDs in there, man. It's important. It's important. Gotta get them in. That might be on me because I moved that earlier. But gotta happen. It's gotta happen. The joys of radio. The joys of radio here on let's say a very nice, a very beautiful, a nice, crisp, late fall evening here in the 740 area. Right now, it's about low 40s or so outside.
Starting to get a little foggy out too.
I love it. I think it was. I thought it was perfect playoff football weather tonight. Not too cold. You know, I was feeling a little brisk, but it wasn't anything where like I needed another jacket or anything like that. It was a good night. It was a nice. You know, it was perfect weather to watch a football game in. And
if you were a player on the field, you were more than comfortable.
Yeah, you were good. You didn't no sleeves were needed. You were good in your you know, however you get ready for the game. So we'll have to see. And I think that's a good segue because you know we got some time now. I don't know, Bo, where you at? I know we're hopefully gonna hear from Bo.
I would love to hear from Bo at least one more time this year.
Bo at least one more time, and well, we'll have to see. We will have to wait and see, but. Let's talk about some matchups for next week because there are some big ones. We'll start Region 11 where the semifinal matchups will be Waterson against, again, and a reminder now, we are done with home and away games. Every game from here on out is either in Canton or a neutral site game. So Waterson Valley, I mean, that'll be easy to find. Those two are very close to each other as it is.
Yeah.
And then Steubenville Dover, that game will be way up north. That game will be up in the Steubenville area. That's another
near
one
Canton.
Yeah, and it's funny how the Region 11 now, the technically is the Southeast Ohio region. You got 2 Columbus schools and you got 2 Steubenville areas.
Yeah.
So Funny how
doesn't
that
sound
works,
real
huh?
southeastern
Yeah.
if you ask me.
Even if Tri-Valley had made it, Tri-Valley's pretty far north
Mhm.
too. So, I mean, that's just kind of the reality of that region. But yeah, you got Waterston Valley and then Steubenville, Dover. I believe I'm gonna double check. I'm gonna go look this up right now.
They did play
I was
earlier
gonna
in the
say,
year.
I
42-7 victory for Steubenville.
I was gonna say I think Steubenville and Dover have played this year. Steubenville did win. Thanks. All right, it was week number 5. 42-7 was the victory, and it was at home for Steubenville. So now you go neutral site, and it's the second best team that Steubenville have played this year, behind the win that they had over Archbishop McNichols, who fell tonight. By the way. How about Clinton Massey losing tonight?
Right?
That's a big one.
Shocker.
That's a
In
big one.
overtime.
In overtime to Indian Hill, I believe.
Yep.
16-13, the final score. That's a big one. Clinton Massey, well-known powerhouse up in the or down in the Cincinnati area. They fall tonight, and that's a team we're used to seeing, regional finals, regional semis out of, and not this year.
I think another interesting game is that Memorial Rough Riders team that knocked out Miami Trace last week. They also took down the number 1 seed Tippecanoe Red Devils 16-14 as well. So if you're a Miami Trace Panthers fan, I mean, don't hang your hats too low. That's a good Memorial team that you got knocked out by in the playoffs. And Miami Trace, I know your season didn't end the exact way you wanted to, but still, great performance by that team.
And by the way, that win by St. Mary's over Tippecanoe snaps a 29-game home winning streak.
Wow.
For Tippecanoe.
I mean,
And
if you're
they're the
Tippecanoe, that's a tough way to lose your winning streak.
It's a hurtful one. That one's going to sting. Grady Kinsey, the running back at Indian Valley, has now surpassed 5,000 career rushing yards as a junior.
Oh my gosh, that's Derrick Henry-like.
Genuinely. He's played in 11 games. I do think he was banged up. I think based on what Jeff was saying earlier, I think he was banged up. He didn't play last week. So he's got through 11 games. Listen to these stats. 189 carries, 2,523 yards, 13.3 a carry, 229.4 yards per game, 34 scores.
Disgusting.
And the career stats, 38 games, 496 carries, 5,149 yards. That's 10.4 a carry, 135 yards per game, and 75 touchdowns in a 3-year career.
I would love to have him on my team.
I would too. Lake gave Hoban all they could handle. 21-14, Hoban wins. Some other notable scores. Just kind of looking around our area right now. McKinley took down Jackson Massillon 35-33.
Yeah, I did see that Massillon fell.
Well, what a great game. I mean, that's not Massillon, Washington. That's Massillon, Jackson. Jackson, Massillon, Jackson Falls. Massillon, Washington, I believe, is still alive. Going around here. Yeah, there's the replay, the final play from that game.
I thought London did a good job avoiding the upset to Chaminade Julian tonight, too. Yeah. I thought that was a potential upset alert, but London didn't get it done 24-12.
Cuyahoga Valley Christian defeated Chardon 19-16. Wheelersburg with the win tonight, by the way, becomes the third 14 seed to advance since the 2021 playoff expansion. So to advance to the third round.
Yeah.
So
wow.
Notable there for the Berg. There's a Clinton Massey loss to Indian Hill. I'm just scrolling through Fantastic 50 right now to see some of this stuff. By the way, for any potential Paint Valley fans out there, they would have matched up against Anna this week. Purcell Marion went against them. Anna won 54-12, so it would have been a tough matchup this week. Marion local. Do you think they won?
Yeah, I'm gonna take a guess and say they did.
56-14, not even a sweat.
I was actually going to say they would cover 50.
Yeah. Eastwood Norwayne ended 56-49.
Jeez.
What
a shootout.
Yeah. Eastwood won that, by the way. Again, just a crazy couple of games.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the regions that we've talked about, as far as the 7 that we've discussed tonight, there was a bunch of upsets alone in those. I can imagine just the entire state of Ohio.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just, it's tough. It's tough to predict. And, well, we looked at Region 11. Let's look at Region 15 for some playoff matchups. We've got St. Clairsville will host the 13th seeded West Holmes. Well, they won't host, excuse me. They will play West Holmes. That might be in Steubenville, honestly. They'll move that game somewhere in that area. West Holmes, the Knights, I believe, West Holmes versus the Red Devils of St. Clairsville. St. Clairsville 12-0. This is a program that is kind of slept on, honestly. St. Clairsville is a very good program. They've been good for a really long time. And they, when you look at their team history, they've been to the regional final. They've been to the state finals 2012. They won the region. They haven't won this. The thing is this is the first time that they got out of the region of the second round since 2021, where they went to the regional final. They were a great team that year. They were 12-2. They ended up losing to Bloom Carroll in the regional final that year. I remember that was a great game, 14-3 defensive battle. I knew people who were at that one. But again, they hadn't gotten out since then, and it was kind of hanging over them this year. I know it was. They've been upset back-to-back years by an 8 or a 9 seed, and they got the job done.
Yeah.
So now they get an opportunity here against a West Holmes squad that's dangerous, that's very dangerous, but they'll be favored, St. Clairsville, and they got the job done tonight. And then I think this is maybe the game of our area next week. Indian Valley, New Lexington. Two offenses that are just beyond high-powered.
Yeah.
You look at Isaiah Stevens and what he's done for New Lexington. He is as dynamic a quarterback as there is in our area. You look at that backfield, Carson Kellogg, stud. He not only is he a factor in the passing game, but not even a factor in the rushing game, but he can catch the ball as well. He's a factor in the receiving game. They've got talented receivers. They've got a great defense. I believe a defense that really hasn't been shelled all year.
Probably the West Muskingum game.
West Muskingum, they gave up 35 and then they went back-to-back weeks there. Week 45, they gave up a lot of points to West Musk, and then they lost bad to a good Tri-Valley team. Since that game, 14 points, 24 points, 19 points, 10 points, 10 points, 28 points to Canton South, right? The thing about it is this offense is red hot. They have not scored less than 30 points all season. They have scored more than 40 points or more, and I believe 7 of 11 games. They make it 8-12 tonight.
Yeah, and they're just putting up points.
They score in bunches. They score in bunches, man, and I think that's going to be the key. This game really could spiral into a shootout very quickly.
Yeah, I think it's just looking right at that, especially when you look at both defenses only giving up 14 points this week. Something's going to have to give from one of the defenses. I don't know which one it's going to be next week. There's two high-powered offenses coming in.
Yeah. So, sorry, I had ice stuck in my teeth.
It's that small ice.
Yeah, it's the small ice. It was the small ice that got stuck. Yeah, you gotta stay hydrated when you talk this much during the day. It's been one of the keys. So, some good matchups there. That Indian Valley New Lex game is going to be very well attended. That game will probably get put in like Zanesville, maybe.
Yeah,
thinking that something like that. And then that St. Clairsville West Holmes game will be somewhere up in the maybe Bel Air. Well, no, Bel Air doesn't have lights.
If it's played at Zanesville, there's probably going to be a lot more points scored from the home team on that field than what there has been all year.
Yeah. Zanesville had a rough year. TJ Carper, I'm sorry. We'll go down. What time is it? Yeah, let's take a quick break. We got a few more playoff matchups to preview for next week. Regional semi week, we've got some tasty games to preview. Region 19, I think, has maybe one of the tastiest of them all. Ironton Prep.
Yeah.
Two teams that have seen each other a couple of times before in the big moments. We're going to talk about that game when we come back. You're listening to Football Friday Night, presented by General Mills.
Hey, it's me. Well, you from the future. Let's talk budget. Gas prices are going up, you blew your budget buying groceries, and here comes your bill for car insurance. Now, that's one bill you can control when you choose Erie Insurance.
Do your future self a favor and ask about Rate Lock from Erie.
The only thing going down is the waistline on our jeans. Yep, low rise are back in again.
Your Erie agent is McFadden Insurance. Get a quote today at McFadden-insurance.com.
Go to ErieInsurance.com for company licensure and product details. Southeast Appalachian Regional Community Health of Ohio is proud to present The Search Project. The Search Project through the Jackson County Health Department is a program designed to decrease the negative impacts of COVID-19 and other public health issues and promote healthy behaviors through the deployment of community health work. The project is funded by CDC and serves 11 counties in southeastern Ohio. For more information, contact the Jackson County Health Department at 740-935-6322.
Looking to buy or sell a home in Southern Ohio? Turn to Howard Hanna Real Estate Services and the McNerlin Network team. We offer a full range of services including mortgages, insurance, and title services to ensure a smooth process. Our new Buy Borrow Bundle program can save buyers up to $10,000 at closing and attract more buyers when selling. Ready to get started? Call 740-702-6000 or text 614-607-8201 for a free consultation. Howard Hanna Real Estate Services, where your home happens here.
The General Mills Company of Wellston, manufacturers of great items like Totino's Pizza and Totino's Pizza Rolls, are proud to be a part of the Southern Ohio community. The General Mills Company, just like its hard-working employees in Southern Ohio, are proud supporters of our area youth. The General Mills Company wishes good luck to all area high school teams this season. A message from your friends at General Mills Company in Wellston.
Football season is here. Keep your athletes at their best with Holzer in Athens. Dr. Jason Cox Orthopedics and Dr. Aaron Ramsey Chiropractic Care are currently accepting new patients. From follow-up care to injury repair, our healthcare team at Holzer Athens will keep your athlete in the game. Call 855-446-5937 to schedule your appointment today. That's 855-446-5937.
Need new tires? Rick's Tire and Auto has you covered. Looking for top-notch auto service? Rick's Tire and Auto has expertise. And now they're bringing their A-game to Athens County. Owned by Rick Dieter, formerly of Huddle Tire in Athens. Rick's Tire and Auto Service is located at 1353 East Canal Street in Nelsonville. Right off the first Nelsonville exit on 33 West. Stop in for a quick tire change or oil change or schedule an appointment by calling 220-218-4169. At Rick's Tire and Auto, we have your vehicle covered.
Back on Football Friday night. It's Ethan Sargent. We got Bub Landrum here in the studio. Got about 20 or so minutes left with you, and could be the last 20 minutes we spend with you this year. We don't know. We might be back next week. We got to have the discussion, but it's not as much of a done deal as it has been the last 2 weeks.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to cross the T's, dot the I's. But if that is it, we had a lot of fun this year. It was a heck of a time.
Been a blast. Been into a lot of great places.
Absolute blast. And we've appreciated everybody that has taken us in. We got to go to a lot of places we haven't been to yet. Again, our big goals here was to go on the road every weekend, with the exception of hurricanes. We did.
Yeah.
It was a really good time. We really enjoyed it. I know, at least I did. I'm sure Bub, you did, and Eric did as well.
Why not? I mean, how could I not? There was excellent food every week. I mean, the people we met was exceptional.
Again, I said this last year when we did our Week 12 episode, because that did end up being our last episode. I think this show is really important. I think that it brings, attention. Like you saw what happened today at Beaver Eastern. I don't know if those guys are still in the chat or not, but, to have, like, that attention be given to that program. D7 school, very small. They don't, athletics aren't, a huge focus.
Yeah.
Or at least not focused on by a lot of people there. And to give high school kids and high school communities that spotlight is so important, and it's a big reason why we do what we do, and we love it. We enjoy it. We got plenty more planned. Don't worry, we got basketball season coming up, so we're not going anywhere. But at least while football season winds down here, as we are in the playoffs, we appreciate everybody who's helped us out here this season. All the schools we went to. We went to Jackson a few times, went to Athens, Nelsonville, York. We went to Waverly,
Wellston.
We went to Wellston. Beaver Eastern, of course.
Unioto. That was a blast.
That was a fun. Mike's saying we got to go one more week. We might. You guys might be I think if we do, you guys will be the reason we do one more week.
Yeah, they're definitely going to push for it.
We're going to talk. We're going to have to talk about it. Maybe Maybe we'll have to do it. It'll be fun. And I know that game next week, man. Beaver Eastern, Conant Valley. Probably going to be maybe in Logan, maybe in Nelsonville, York, and Bookdale. I think that they would try and do it a little bit farther north of Athens. Make it about as even a drive as possible. It'd be about an hour and a half each way for both schools with that. So, and Mike, we're gonna give it a go. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But let's talk about some other matches. And the big one next week, and this one's gonna be circled on everyone's list: Harvest Prep and Jackson. These two teams have met 3 times in the last 5 years in the postseason. Got to go back to the 2020 for their first meeting. This was in the regional semifinal. Ironton were the 1 seed, Harvest Prep were the 5, and Ironton eked it out, 21-14. They won that game. In the 2020 playoffs, of course, where things were wacky and weird.
Yeah, it was a weird season with COVID.
Yeah. And then you got to go to 2022 for their next meeting. 2021, Jackson lost to Wheelersburg in the regional semi. 2022, Ironton, those around here will remember, they went to the state title game. They lost to South Range. They went to the state title game, actually, in 2020 as well. Maybe a pattern developing.
Yeah.
They ended up winning this game comfortably, 34-0. So now Ironton was 2-0 against Harvest Prep in the postseason. Then last year, they would clash heads once again. This time in the regional semi, Ironton once again were the 1 seed. This game was just down the road and might be right down the road again in Athens. And this time, finally, Harvest Prep got the one up on the Tigers. 20-14, it was a razor-thin game. Just a high-level high school football game, man. 2 really good teams. Just going back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, it's proven true that it's going to be a good one this week as well.
Yeah. And
talk about a cakewalk for Ironton.
Yeah, and look, that's the last loss that Ironton has to a school in the continental United States. That's,
yeah, there's darn Canadians.
There's darn Canadians, yeah. Clarkson football, who took them down 20-27. Again, Ironton hasn't lost on the tank. No, they that game was played at Green. This is a game where, again, I see Ironton winning. I think that Ironton's going to win, but with these two teams and how high level they both play at, it's just tough to call. It's tough to predict.
Yeah, especially when you think about the matchups. And, I mean, we've seen Wheelersburg take Harvest Prep to their limits this year. Yeah. So, I mean, we could also see Harvest Prep take Ironton to their limits this year.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. And that's the biggest thing. I think that we are set for a game where you almost just don't know. You just don't know what we're going to see here. And I think that we're going to get classic. I think that these two teams are going to play to just a very high level. And we've seen it before with these two teams. It always feels like it doesn't feel. It is a heavyweight clash. And again, I think we'll see Ironton. Brady Schreck, very talented quarterback. You've got Sean Terry, all-world talent. Harvest Prep's got some dogs out there. They've got a really good sophomore quarterback. They've got some real talent out there on the receiver end as well. So Ironton's secondary is going to have to be ready to go. And really, probably for the first time in weeks, Ironton's going to have to be ready to go. That's my only concern with Ironton. It really is. Because you look at the way they've played, the last few weeks. Last time they were in a battle was week 7 against Pikeville, Kentucky. They won 48-33.
Yep.
And that was the week after that game against Ontario. Since then, 41-0 Fairland, 49-10 Gallia, 50-0 Portsmouth, 68-14 Worthington Christian, and then 44-0 Portsmouth. Right? On one hand, yeah, they're kicking the you-know-what.
Yeah, I mean, it's the OVC champs of the second team, and they're like, what do you do?
But on the other side, you got to be 100% ready to play. They're going to need to be ready to play a full 48 minutes, most likely at Joe Burrow Stadium. They're going to need to be ready to go from the jump. And because if they're not, Prep will jump on them.
You can't have 3 first-half turnovers like you did last week against Worthington Christian.
You can't have the turnovers like you did against Prep last year. It cost them big time in that game. And, Prep, their losses on the year, they lost to a really good Perkins school early in the year.
And Perkins got a big win tonight as well.
Yeah, Perkins did win tonight against Vermilion over in Region 14. And then they lost to LaSalle as well. So they, again, you want to talk about iron sharpening iron. Harvest Prep's done the same thing. They beat Pick Central in the year, which was such an impressive victory. They beat Ashland Blazer, really good Kentucky school. Played LaSalle tight, beat Wheelersburg. they're battle tested just as much as Ironton is. And whoever wins this game is going to be favored.
Yeah.
Who's going to be favored against, a good transition, the winner of West Muskingum Wheelersburg. Don't think many people would have predicted that to be the regional semi.
Yeah,
and it really is a shocker. It's 14 versus a 7.
Yeah, and you were talking about Ironton and Harvest Prep being so tough to choose from. This game might be even more difficult.
It's tough.
But I feel like Wheelersburg just being on the stride that they have been on since, the tough out-of-conference schedule, I feel like they're going to be favored in this matchup. But, man, West Muskingum doing what they did to Fairland this week, I expected Fairland to actually take the win.
Yeah,
but, man, they just dominated them.
Yeah. And West Musk, we saw they've played teams tough this year. They've looked good and when they've played the good teams. And now we'll see against the Wheelersburg squad that, again, that West Musk game also, that problem game might be at Athens, maybe. I don't know where they would put that one. They'll put West M and they'll put that game and they'll put the Ironton game. Probably both of those games will be in the 740. Probably both of them in Athens County.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, with Wheelersburg, before this game happened tonight, Ethan, and before what we've seen with West Muskingum, I was ready to solidify Wheelersburg as a lock for the bottom half of this regional bracket. I thought it was going to be the Wheelersburg and Ironton rematch, but I have no idea going into next week what I'm going to pick.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't know either. That's a tough call. And again, that's a game where, again, Wheelersburg, that hard-nosed rushing offense, and then West Musk, a high-flying offense of their own. They've got a very talented quarterback. They've got weapons as well. So we'll have to see. Region 23, this region went all scratch. 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3. Northmore Ridgewood's going to be a great game. Slugfest.
Yes, it is.
A couple really good football teams there. I think the winner of that game actually is going to be favored against the winner of Heights and Fort Fry. Heights looked vulnerable this week. I think Fort Fry, they escaped by the skin of their teeth against Waterford, but they'll feel like they have a real shot against the number 1 seed in the region.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like Grandview, out of all teams that we cover, is probably the weakest 1 seed. Yeah. And I've actually predicted them to get upset the last 2 weeks, and it hasn't happened, but it feels like these scores are getting closer and closer to happening for the Bobcats to get upset.
You only score 13 points, and you find a way to win. One hand, offense buying the defense dinner tomorrow. But on the other hand, the good teams find ways to win. I talked about it yesterday. Again, most people around here know I'm a Bengals fan. Good teams find ways to win. Bad teams find ways to lose. The Bengals found a way to lose last night.
Yeah.
Grandview Heights found a way to win.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
I'm not going to harp on them for finding a way to win.
Like just like the Ravens, good teams find ways to win.
Exactly.
Right, and again, they're going to have to do it. Fort Fry's going to bring you hard-nosed rushing offense. I was able to watch some of that stream they had, and they can pass the ball a little bit.
Yeah,
they've got a quarterback that can throw. Obviously, we know all about the rushing talent they have in the backfield with Beardsley and with Clayton Miller and everybody else they've got back there. I believe Miller's the quarterback. I might be wrong. And there's a lot of other, they got talent. They're always good up front. And I think that they're going to be a tough team to beat for Grandview Heights. They're going to have to play better this week for sure. Let's go down to Region 27 briefly. Danville will play the winner of Steubenville and Miller, so we'll skip them for now. They'll be favored against whoever ends up winning that game.
Yeah.
Pretty comfortably, probably by 3 or 4 scores. But this other game, boy, is it a clash. Beaver Eastern and Conotton Valley. This is just a great football game from my eyes. I think it's going to be a fun football game.
Especially when you look at the stylistic matchup that we have on the offenses. I mean, it's going to be passing versus passing attack. Eastern Beaver is going to try to establish the running game, but they're still going to rely on Eric Manley's arm to get the job done. And he trusts his receiver so well to be able to go and throw those go-get-'em balls. I think Eric Manley is really taking a step up this year. And you can tell the experience growth that he has had from week 1 of the season to now week 12 going on week 13 for the Eastern Beaver Eagles.
Yeah. And again, that's what the standard is going to be. And again, it's such an interesting clash of styles here because you have such a balanced offense of Beaver Eastern with the running and passing game that they built up and really have just, it's been so strong. And again, it kind of all culminated for them tonight. Just really a perfect offensive performance for them.
Brady Moore was running very hard downhill.
And I didn't, the height difference between Eric Manley at all 6'6" at the quarterback position, and then you got Brady Moore, who can't be taller than 5'7".
I was going to say, I couldn't put him past 5'8".
He is not tall, but boy, does he run strong.
He's got a lot of heart.
He's a bowling ball. man. I noticed this. It was probably the biggest thing I noticed when I was watching. He just the first tackle never brings him down.
He does not quit. His legs keep churning, and he just goes.
You're exactly right. He just keeps running. And look, I think it's gonna be It's tough to stop because once he gets going, it's almost like you pick your poison, right? Because then opens up play action. Manley can sling the ball. Got all that talent out there with Richardson and with trying some of these other guys. And I just look at some of and Carson Peters had a great game tonight.
Yeah,
stuff like that where they're gonna have to. Conant Valley's going to have some tough conversations, but then Conant Valley also talent on their side of the ball as well. We talked about their quarterback, talked about their receivers. So, again, this one could devolve into a shootout. It really could. And we'll have to see what happens in that game. I really can't put a thumb on who's going to come out on top. I think it's going to be really tight.
I feel like you're going to see a lot of Eric Manley against his first-team defense this week to get them ready for that air raid offense that Conant Valley has.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. So, well, we've got about 4 minutes left, and then we'll take our last break, and then we'll have a quick segment there at the end. But, with these last couple of minutes, Bub, and I don't know if this is going to be the final show. We'll have to see. Maybe we'll sneak in one more next week. We'll have that conversation over the weekend. But if this is the last run, give me your most surprising and then most disappointing team of 2024.
I got to go with the most disappointing team I'll go ahead and throw out there. Is Miami Trace, and it's just the way their season ended with the high expectations going into FAC play, and then you get to that Jackson game where you both are undefeated in FAC action, and then you go to Alumni Stadium and you can't get the job done once again, and it seems like this is a pattern that does keep reoccurring for the Miami Trace Panthers and the rest of the FAC trying to take down Jackson. The most surprising team of the year, I'm going to go with Vinton County just because of the way their season started and how they got to the way they ended, taking down Wellston in that big rivalry Week 10. I thought Vinton County was a team that did improve throughout the entire season. They got better and better. They actually had a weird, realistic shot of winning the TVC Ohio Week 9 in that Nelsonville matchup. Unfortunately, they didn't get the job done there, but they bounced back. They got the rivalry win in that Week 10 matchup against Wellston, and I think that's something they can carry on to next season, and you're going to see them make a big splash in the TVC Ohio next year.
Yeah, I like that. I got to kind of think of mine here briefly. I think for most surprising, I'm gonna scroll up here. I'm going to kind of cheat a little bit, look at some of these other scores. I think it might be Beaver Eastern. I think I might just take the layup. They go 11-0, 11-1 last year, and it was like, oh well, that's one great year, right? But obviously, when you lose, you knew they were losing the quarterback. They had a great running back last year. They lose him as well, and it's like, okay, well, they probably won't still be good, right? Well, they're better actually.
Yeah, I agree with you. That is way more surprising.
I'll give a close second to Athens as well.
Yeah.
They had expectations this year, but I don't know if anybody expected them to be 9-0. Definitely a big shout out to them. They were very impressive this year. I think for most disappointing, I think it's on the same track as your call with how a season ended. I'm gonna go with Paint Valley. That's a good one. The way that their season ended, they were flying high. They were state ranked in Division 6.
Yes.
They were 7-0 or 6-0 one point. Then you lose to Piketon, and then you get spanked by Unioto, and then
fall to Zane Trace as well.
Lose to Zane Trace, and then you get lit up in round 1 of the playoffs. It was just a pretty brutal end of the season for the Bearcats.
That was a team we were hyped on after that West Jeff win, especially.
We were. I think that was a team that we thought could potentially really make some noise, and in the end, they kind of just fell short.
The absence of Robertson really hurt them.
It did. As a premier player that was banged up a lot late in the year, and it was a big miss. He was a big miss. So it was a tough one, but for the Paint Valley, they'll have to bounce back. They do get Preston Falber back next year, so that'll be a big one of the better quarterbacks in our area will return.
He'll definitely have a chip on his shoulder coming into next year as well.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree on that. Well, let's take our final break of the evening. When we come back, some final thoughts from the studio. You're listening to Football Friday Night, presented by General Mills.
Are you craving mouth-watering, finger-licking barbecue that'll have you coming back for more? Look no further than Pig Iron Smokehouse Barbecue and Grill, where real wood and real flavor rules supreme. Sink your teeth into our signature smoked ribs, tender pulled pork, and juicy brisket, all slow-cooked to perfection with our secret blend of spices. And don't forget our delectable sides. From creamy mac and cheese to tangy coleslaw, there's something to satisfy every craving. Come visit us at our location in the Plains or online. Pig Iron Smokehouse Barbecue and Grill, real wood, real flavor.
Are you tired of dealing with malfunctioning garage doors? Look no further than True Track Garage Doors in Londonderry. Our team of experienced technicians specialize in garage door repairs, installation, and maintenance services. Whether you need a simple repair or a brand new garage door installation, we've got you covered. At True Track Garage Doors, we prioritize customer satisfaction and ensure that your garage door is functioning properly and safely. Contact us today at 740-596-1000 to schedule an appointment or request a free estimate. Call True Track to get you back on track.
Are you age 55 plus and ready to make a difference in your community? COAD's AmeriCorps Senior Retired Senior Volunteer Program allows seniors age 55 and up who pass a background check to help with community-based services such as veteran services, disaster relief, and environmental care through local nonprofits. If this interests you, please contact Danielle Woodyard at 740-286-4918 or email dwoodyard@coadinc.org. COAD, the Corporation for Ohio Appalachian Development, is here to help you and the community.
Everyone knows Nick's Station is home to Footlong Fridays. But did you also know that it's home to the best burgers and milkshakes in town? Bring your kids for a soft serve ice cream treat or have some quality time with family and friends with a delicious lunch or dinner at Nick's. Nick's Station is located at 1111 Chestnut Street in Nelsonville and open Tuesday through Sunday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Come on down to Nick's Station in Nelsonville, home to Footlong Fridays and fresh, delicious food and ice cream treats, served up quickly with a smile.
For 190 years, Austin Powder Company has been the name you can trust in the mining industry. Our legacy is built on safety, customer care, and a great workplace. From the first blast to the final haul, we've been there every step of the way. Ready to be part of our tradition of excellence? The Red Diamond Austin Powder plant in MacArthur is now hiring. Visit austinpowder.com or call 596-7940 to apply today and start your journey with a global leader in the industry. Why not come work for an exciting company offering great benefits, challenging opportunities, and with colleagues that feel like family? Austin Powder Company, improving the world we live in through safe and responsible use of explosives.
The General Mills Company of Wellston, manufacturers of great items like Totino's Pizza and Totino's Pizza Rolls, are proud to be a part of the Southern Ohio community. The General Mills Company, just like its hard-working employees in Southern Ohio, are proud supporters of our area youth. The General Mills Company wishes good luck to all area high school teams this season. A message from your friends at General Mills Company in Wellston.
Got one last minute here with you on Football Friday Night. Ethan Sargent, Bub Landrum here with you in the studio. And wow, if this is it, well, we don't not 100% sure yet, but if this is it, it was a heck of a season. It was a heck of a ride. I enjoyed the heck out of it. But what do you think your favorite memory was of the 2024 season? If this is our last go,
I'll be honest. There were so many great memories that we've had throughout the first, all 12 weeks of high school football. But I'll tell you, it's got to be week one, just in general, getting the experience starting and going in Nelsonville, York, with you, Eric, Carl, and then we just had such a great time, and we expanded on that the last 12 weeks of the season. And I think overall this experience has been very excellent, and just I've had a great time.
Yeah, it's been a ball. I've had a ton of fun as well. So again, thanks so much to everybody who tuned in throughout the entire season. Football Friday kickoff won't go anywhere. It'll be back. If not next week, then next year for sure. I don't know if it'll be me. I got, I'm still only 21 for those of you who don't know. So I got a lot of stuff in my life ahead of me, but we'll see. I know if it's not me, I know it'll be in good hands here at Total Media, and it's definitely something where I do think that this show is something that's, I mentioned earlier, it's very important, and I think it's something that I'm glad we started, and I think it's very, very important that we continue it and continue to give these kids the coverage that they deserve. That'll probably wrap things up here for Football Friday Night. For Eric, for Bub, for every one of our broadcasters throughout the season who work so hard every week to get their coverage in and to work these games, we appreciate you. We thank you. Make sure if you're in that community and you see those broadcasters, you give them a pat on the back. thank them for all the hard work that they did this year. And then shout out to everybody here at Total Media. I had a great time. It was a great year. And again, I might be saying this. We might be back next week. But in any case, we appreciate you. We might see you next week. We might not. We'll announce it on Facebook or our other concurrent platforms if we do. But again, we greatly appreciate every single one of you who tuned in this year. And we really hope you enjoyed our coverage. And, if your team is still alive, good luck the rest of the way. Shout out those Eastern Eagles down in Beaver.
Go Eagles.
Again, we appreciate every single one of you who's tuned in now and throughout the season. And enjoy the rest of the playoffs. We'll see you maybe next week. If not, we will see you week 1, 2025. For Bub and Eric Landrum, I've been Ethan Sargent. It's been a pleasure to bring you Football Friday Nights.
This has been General Mills Football Friday Night. It was brought to you by Adventure Pro Outdoors, Coad, General Mills, Higgins Steel Roofing, Holzer, Jackson County Health Department Search Program, Necco Forest Care, Red Wolf Inn, Rocky Boots, Suicide Prevention, and brought to you locally by Austin Powder, Mammy's Country Kitchen, McFadden Insurance, Nick Station, Rick's Tire and Auto, Pig Iron Smokehouse Barbecue and Grill, and Rogers Plumbing and more.
Broadcasting from the Holzer Health System studios with 2 locations in Athens. Southeast Ohio's hometown rock station is Pure Rock 105 WXTQ, Athens, USA. A Total Media station.